Europe has a legacy of colonial wealth that continues to this day. While there are parts of Europe with a low cost of living, many people associate the continent with old money and a high quality of life. So it comes as no surprise that several houses in Europe are some of the most luxurious in the world. Today, we're looking at the 10 most expensive homes in Europe. Considered to be the largest building in London, Franschhoek Villa has royal rooms with rich interiors and stunningly beautiful architecture. The underground indoor swimming pool is what makes this building unique. In addition to a 20-foot tall ceiling, there's a world-class gym, a movie theatre, a garage, and a total of 21,000 square feet of living space. Currently owned by Mike Spink, this villa got its name from the original buyer, Alina Franschhoek, the daughter of former Ukraine president, who bought it at a record-breaking price 3 years ago. The home is currently valued at $161 million, making it the 10th most valuable in Europe. St. Moritz is renowned as an exclusive location in Switzerland that is only available for the world's richest patrons. And within the ski resort is Switzerland's most expensive home, an impressive feat in a country with a notoriously high cost of living. With an underground lake and a hidden library, the property is worth $185 million. The winter getaway houses 7 floors centered around a massive 6-sided staircase, which serves as the home's backbone. The staircase itself is a feat of engineering. It shows no visible support beams. And of course, the luxe property has jaw-dropping views of the Swiss Alps in all directions. This property is easily one of the most impressive in the world. But unlike the other houses on our countdown, the penthouse is a $227 million apartment. Located in 1 Hyde Park in London, this flat manages to justify its jaw-dropping price tag. To begin with, it has 2 stories with floor-to-ceiling windows, its own parking lot, and access to a host of spas and squash courts. On top of that, it has a tunnel leading directly to TV chef Heston Blumenthal's only London restaurant. Despite being one of the most celebrated chefs in the UK, Blumenthal and his staff are on call for room service 24/7. On top of these luxuries, the apartment is outfitted with a security system straight out of a sci-fi movie. The residence has security features including bulletproof windows, SAS-trained security guards, an air purifier to frustrate poison gas attacks, iris-scanning doors, and a panic room where the owners can retreat in safety should they be targeted by kidnappers or robbers. Perhaps most interestingly, the apartment's new owners have remained completely anonymous, citing safety concerns for themselves and their families. Kensington Palace is the highlight of London's Billionaires' Row. The street is one of the most expensive residential zip codes in the world, and Kensington is by far the most impressive. The property is valued at more than $230 million and was last purchased by Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. Though he has many business ventures, he's probably best known as the owner of Chelsea, the British football club. Despite its current ownership, Kensington Palace is most closely associated with the British royal family. It was the first residence of Queen Mary II in the 1600s. Over time, it served as both a full-time residence and a seasonal home to numerous monarchs. But during World War II, the palace served a much scarier purpose. The British military refitted the facilities and transformed them into a prisoner of war camp, known colloquially as the London Cage. Though the grounds were located in an extremely central London neighbourhood, precautions were taken to keep the events totally secret. Only after the war did it come out that the facilities were used for torture, complete with dozens of cages and interrogation rooms. Since then, the house has been converted back into a royal residence. Prince William and Prince Harry both grew up in the palace with their mother, Princess Diana, even after her divorce from Prince Charles. Now the Italian-style residence has been returned to its former glory, and future additions include an underground extension with a tennis court, health centre, and a fully functional auto museum. When the Chateau Louis XIV sold for over $300 million 2 years ago, Fortune magazine called it the world's most expensive home, and Town & Country swooned over its gold-leafed fountain, marble statues, and hedged labyrinth set in a 57-acre landscaped park. But for all the lavish details, one fact was missing: the identity of the buyer. Now it turns out that the paper trail leads to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. heir to the Saudi throne and the driving force behind a series of bold policies transforming Saudi Arabia and shaking up the Middle East. The home, called Chateau Louis XIV, is modeled on the 17th century French castles, but was only built a few years ago, and it looks amazing. According to The Telegraph, the Chateau Louis XIV is a 50,000 square foot palace near Versailles. Even socialite Kim Kardashian once considered it as a potential wedding location. Surrounded by woods and grasslands, Chateau Louis XIV combines historical wonders and state-of-the-art technologies. There are almost 2,000 chandelier and wall-mounted handcrafted lamps. French, Carrere and Brazilian marbles were imported, and the fountains are gilded with gold leaf, similarly to the Chateau de Versailles in the suburbs of Paris. Until now, London's One Hyde Park was home to the most expensive penthouse in the world. But in Monaco, there's a new record holder in play. The city is opening its first skyscraper in 30 years, so of course, they had to go big. The Odeon Tower is 170 meters tall and includes the most expensive apartment, the Sky Penthouse, with the record-breaking price tag of $400 million, making it the fifth most valuable home in Europe and the most expensive apartment on Earth. The 31,500 square foot, 5-floor palace occupies the 45th through the 49th floors of the Tour Odeon. The apartment includes a rooftop deck and pool, with its own water slide that descends 1 story from the dance floor directly into the infinity pool, if that gives you a sense of the dimensions. The flat has a spectacular view of the ocean and the ville, as the French understatedly put it. You do get something for your lucre, in other words, nearly 32,000 square feet in a town where just under 90 square feet goes for roughly $1 million. And investors would be wise to buy real estate in Monaco. Property within the 2,000-yard-wide principality has nominally and sometimes actually a greater monetary value because it is a tax haven. A Chinese property tycoon purchased a 45-room mansion overlooking Hyde Park in London for more than £200 million, making it by far the most expensive house sold in the UK and the 4th most expensive in Europe. Cheung Chong-kyu, who already owns the £1.1 billion so-called cheese grater skyscraper in the city, is in the process of buying No. 2 8A Rutland Gate for between £205 and £210 million. The 7-story property was built as 4 grand family homes before being converted into one vast residence in the 1980s. The previous owner had been Crown Prince Sultan bin Abdul Aziz of Saudi Arabia, who died in 2011. It has also been the home to the billionaire businessman Rafik Hariri, who twice served as Lebanon's prime minister. According to Bloomberg, if Cheung decided to divide the gargantuan 62,000 square foot residence into separate, renovated condos, the value of the property could be as much as £700 million. Though it's not publicly known if he plans to undertake such a costly renovation or if he'll merely opt to keep the place as a single, aircraft hangar-sized home with more square footage than an American football field. Ukraine's richest man, billionaire Rinat Akhmetov, bought the historic Villa Les Cedres in southeastern France in 2019 for $221 million, Financial Times reported. The 14-room mansion is surrounded by 35 acres of gardens in Saint-Jacques-Cap-Ferrat, France's so-called peninsula of billionaires. Built in 1830, the palatial mansion was once the home of King Leopold II of Belgium. When the Italian beverage company Campari initially listed the property for $413 million, it was the most expensive home for sale in the world. With one of the most beautiful gardens on the continent, the stunning home has 35 acres of manicured lawns, 15,000 plants, and 20 greenhouses brimmed with rare tropical flora. The palatial home also features a stunning ballroom and stables for up to 30 horses. Impressively, it also boasts an Olympic-sized swimming pool for a buyer who wishes to keep fit. The mayor's descendants sold the property to the Belgian king Leopold II in 1904, who, made stupendously rich by his colonization of the Congo, expanded the gardens that still surround the home. The gates of the villa open to a long, winding path, flanked by towering palms and the cedar trees which give the house its name. The second most valuable home is the Villa Leopolda, located on the French Riviera of France. It has a total of 8 hectares of land, equivalent to 8 football fields. It is worth $500 million. The house was built for the Belgian king Leopold II, who paid 1 franc for the land in 1902. In 1915, it became a hospital, and later, in 1950, it was bought by Giovanni Agnelli, owner of the Italian car brands Fiat and Ferrari. Later on, the banker Edmund Safra bought the house, but after his tragic death, the mansion was owned by his widow Lily. Villa Leopolda is currently owned by a Russian tycoon, Mikhail Prokhorov, who bought the mansion for 300 million euros on August 8, 2008. The mansion is located in the hills of Villefranche-sur-Mer and Beaulieu-sur-Mer, a few kilometers from the Mediterranean city of Nice. It has a garden of almost 8 hectares, with different olive, lemon and orange trees that require more than 50 full-time workers to take care of it. The mansion, amongst others, has a room of 400 square meters and 12 pools. The main house contains 19 deluxe rooms, 14 bathrooms, antique furniture and terraces. You can also find sports courts, a bowling alley and even a movie theater. As expected, it also contains valuable marble and old period artwork. It has been featured in many TV shows and has appeared in Forbes magazine as it's considered one of the most important properties in the history of Europe. Though it is also used for many political and administrative purposes, Buckingham Palace is by far the most valuable home in Europe, valued at $1.55 billion. Of course, the palace is home to England's royal family and was first constructed by the Duke of Buckingham in 1703. Since then, it has been refurbished and remodeled dozens of times, but still maintains its classic appearance. In addition to the largest garden in the UK, the house has an astonishing 775 rooms, a royal pavilion, and one of the most impressive art collections in the world. Of the 775 rooms, more than 250 are bedrooms, and it also has a post office, cinema, swimming pool, doctor's office, and a jeweler's workshop. As the Queen's official residence, she keeps it in top condition. Her throne room and white drawing room are some of the most expensively decorated in the world, complete with chandeliers, jewels, and antique portraiture. Their gallery is currently highlighting Dutch and French works with paintings by Rembrandt, Rubens, Van Dyck and Claude. From the ornate furnishings to the historical significance, Buckingham Palace is truly priceless.